Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles DC Designer Series Harley Quinn statue. Spot picked this up from his local comic book store. This is from the DC Designer Series Harley Quinn. This is from the Designer Series Bruce Timm. Really cool, though, that we're now getting Bruce Timm Designer Series. I guess to some regard, we've been getting Designer Series Bruce Timm in the sense that we've been getting the animated series figures, which, of course, are based the Bruce Timm style of animation. But to get a statue form of Harley Quinn here is very super exciting. The figure, or statue in this case, measures 12.75 inches high. And it's based on artwork created by Bruce Timm. It's sculpted by also Jonathan Matthews over at DC Collectibles. The back of the box features the Batman from the Andy Kubert design, which we've already had a look at. And then there's also the Superman and Lois Lane based on artwork created by Gary Frank. To check out more from the folks over at DC Comics, head over to www.dccomics.com. You can also find, as here we go, Spot always wants to push the local comic book stores. And really the best way to find a comic book store is www.comicshoplocator.com. I don't get any royalties or anything from that, but it certainly is a good way to find a local comic book store in your area and therefore find really cool pieces like this. There is your packaging aside. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at the DC Collectibles, DC Designer Series, Bruce Timm, Harley Quinn statue. There's more anyway, guys. Don't go anywhere. More to come. The Harley Quinn statue comes with 3 different pieces. For starters, you get yourself a circular display base. With a couple of feet on the underside. You also get a number on the underside, a sequence of the 5,200 as a whole produced statues. In this case, this is 1249 out of the 52 limited release. But a couple of rubber feet, something that at least will prevent scratching on the surface. For some reason, I don't know why, but this one display base area, I don't think it's relevant to the statue itself, but you can see it. There's an imperfection right here. You see there's the rest of the color is fairly black and in consistent paint, but like right here, I don't know why it's off. I thought it might have had something to do with the fact that that's where the smoke is going to be coming out of her gun, but no, I think it's just actually a more imperfection on the display base. A couple of peg holes there that the figure is going to stand on top of. And you've got the recessed areas with the Harley Quinn diamonds. So similar in the same way that the Batman that we had a look at from the Dark Knight Returns 3 had the recessed bat logo. So very simplistic in its design, well executed. Again, except for that little imperfection. I'm not sure why that's there. The other thing that, of course, you get is the Harley Quinn statue itself. A longer peg. And it's going to just affix itself to the base. We'll look more into the statue, of course, in a second. And then, of course, you get one other piece, which is the smoke that's going to be coming out from her cap gun, or from her gun that she holds. The bottom end of it is more of a clear, and as it gets closer to the edge, it becomes from a clear to a somewhat translucent white coloring. A nice effect. I'll show you all that, how that comes together in a second. First things first, though, we're going to go ahead and take the longer and shorter peg from the underside of her foot and slide it into place. Now, the holes on the underside, or on the top side of the base, circular base, are of the same size. I find, though, if you angle the statue away, I should say, from, so basically, if the Harley Quinn symbol is facing this way, the statue should be right behind it, and then that would be an indication as to which way it's supposed to go. Then from there we can go ahead and add the smoke, which is simply a case of pegging it into the circular port of the actual cap gun. Now the smoke can be pegged in any way, but obviously because she's going to be blowing the gun this way, you're going to want to take the smoke and angle it this way. But you can see that the smoke goes any which way. It doesn't really even peg in. It just sits into the whole crevice of the actual gun. And it looks perfect like that. The completed look is quite good. I love the stance, first of all, for starters, the way that they've got her posed. Somewhat in a cocky playfulness, I would say, is what a way I would describe the pose of this particular statue. I like how she has the very one strong leg straight down, and then the slightly curved leg next to that. Her classic Harley Quinn colors in the red and black, I think, showcase very well on this particular statue. Let's go ahead and have a look at her face. For many fans of Harley Quinn, the introduction to the character, of course, comes to us from the Batman animated series episode. So, fittingly enough, getting a Bruce Timm designer series statue is the best way to get a Harley Quinn. I think the face sculpt is quite good. One thing I also do like, too, is that they, instead of favoring just a black and white in the face makeup, they instead opted to give us somewhat of additional coloring there as well, especially the areas around her eyelids. You can see are painted in a darker blue. It's a darker blue by a nice contrast to the piercing crystal blue or ice blue eyes that she's got. You can also see that she's got a slight puckered face, projected out mouth as she's blowing the smoke from the top of the barrel. Coloring is very clean, or I should say color is very vibrant. Paint is very clean on this particular statue. Spot's actually picked up a couple, if you have seen from previous reviews, a couple of different Harley Quinn statues over the course of time. And I feel like this one might be my personal favorite. A lot of it could stem from the fact that, again, for a lot of us, Harley Quinn was introduced to us in the animated series. So an animated series version of Harley Quinn is my preferred choice. The only real negative I could make about it is I wish the smoke, though you're not really going to be moving the statue around a lot, I wish the smoke was a little bit more affixed, as opposed to it just being so very loosely applied. If they had put a magnet in there or something that they could have secured this, at least it wouldn't be sliding around as much. It's a very, very small gripe, because again, I'm not going to be moving the statue around too much. Just something that I would note, for displaying. Just wish this was a little bit more secure. When I have a look at all these different statues, and certainly the figures as well, when they start releasing certain designer series based on an artist that I gravitate a little bit more towards, I get really excited. I got really excited by the idea that we were going to get a designer series Harley Quinn, and I was specifically certainly interested in the fact that it was going to be a Bruce Timm design. With the fact that we are going to be getting more and more of the animated series figures, I also hope that DC Collectibles will also focus their efforts by giving us the animated treatment figures also here in the maquette statue form. As good as the Harley Quinn looked in the animated series figures, she looks astonishing here in the DC Designer Series statues. And maybe, hopefully, we'll get more of these from the Bruce Timm design. Again, Spot picked this up from his local comic book store. If you guys are interested in picking this one up for yourself, it's as easy as heading over to your local comic book store. And as I always say, support your local stores as well. It allows you from time to time go in and pick up really cool items such as this. Again, I really wouldn't change really too much about the statue. I like the pose, I love the face, and I love the fact that they've included smoke, though loose, yes. I like that at least they incorporated that as part of the display. Today's collectible spot, we were having a look at the DC Comics. This was the designer series Bruce Timm, and this was the Harley Quinn statue. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.